Give the signal. That means it's going to be go time here in 1600 Buggy, the Steelers starting grid. We got 21 1600 cars on the line. Cowboy giving the signal, and we're going to go green flag racing here in just a few moments. I feel like a drum roll is in order.
There it goes.
We're all ready to go, and I don't know, these drivers are going to be awful antsy right there behind the wheel.
Remember, you have Keepers Way, the second car from the right of your screen. We talk about them all season last year and then this year as well.
Looks like we got some smoke, or is that just some blue exhaust there in the back? What do we got going on there?
Yeah, we got all kinds of smoke coming out. We're going to have to see how that plays into the favor. Cars don't like to idle on the start line very long, but look at that. John Fitzgerald all the way to the outside.
Early.
Fitzgerald and Keepers all the way from the outside, doing a great job there.
Keepers and Fitzgerald side by side. We'll have to see who took the whole shot. Bonsaiing off that barn jump. Here comes Fitzgerald on the bottom of Keepers already. We were talking about how dry the track was, and now look at the track crew did a good job. Put some more moisture in it. We'll see how long that lasts.
You know, and you talk about the dryness or the wetness. Notice on some of these cars, they've got those foam inserts in the rear wheels. A lot of people don't know what that's all about, but that's to keep the mud from packing into the wheels.
Yeah, you don't want to heat up those brakes, then you have just about nothing in the rear of those cars.
Wet track conditions can add hundreds of pounds of weight to your car.
For sure.
Well, I know, Ryan, you're a tire guy. You've spent some time in the tire industry, and something like this, which is interesting, all these cars the same horsepower. It looks like that is Keepers that got spun around there. But, you know, something like this, I mean, when you have cars that are all equal in horsepower, but you can go and you can groove your tires, a lot goes into that tire technology to get somebody out front when that's the differentiator.
It is a very interesting aspect of racing that most people don't take into consideration, how important the tire pressure, the grooves, all the different aspects of the tires. It really plays into the whole aspect of any kind of racing, really. I mean, in sports car racing as well.
Like the conditions, though. I mean, muddy to dry, all terrain, mud terrain.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on for days to try to pick that right groove.
Luger out front right now, getting hunted down by Fitzgerald. Big gap, though, back to second place. Luger getting that whole shot and just absolutely running away with things right now in 1600 Buggy.
Yeah, Luger well out front.
Yeah, Fitzgerald coming all the way from the outside, taking over that ride that was Bruce Fraley's last year, the legend Bruce Fraley.
You know, one of the things that people also don't know about this class is that the resonance of how the motors run really affects your ears. And when you get out of a 1600 car after being in them, well, whether it's 15 or 20 minutes or 15 or 20 hours, your ears ring for hours afterwards.
Hearing that pitch.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pack of bumblebees right now.
Well, this one up front, that bumblebee is really flying. He's really doing what he needs to do early on and just picking away laps. Luger, he's been around a long, long time, and it's hard. You know, you get in the zone, you're watching the track come in, and you're telling yourself, did I set up for that slimy mess, or did I set up for that blue groove hard rock surface? And I think that they put that both in perspective, and they ask people throughout the day, how much water are they putting it on? And that goes back again with the tires. Like, what are we going to do?
So, for the fans out there that don't know what blue groove means, can you explain that? Why do you say blue groove?
It's pretty much concrete. It's like pavement, if you ask me. It's when the track starts going away. They call it the cushion. You can watch it. Oh. Wow, a little squirrely going back and forth.
Built that K-rail up that wasn't there before in that corner. I know we saw in the June run R.J. Anderson do a 360 off the top of it, and that would not be a good thing this year now with the K-rail up there. But yeah, continue on about the blue groove.
No, and it's different. I mean, when you start the race, yeah, you have your fluff, you have your good race line. But when you bring those Pro 2, Pro 4, even the Pro Lights with 20-plus trucks, that track wears in, and it gets so hard, and that goes into tire combination as well. Like a Pro 2, you'll see them shred those rear tires right off. So it's a guessing game, but getting back to what the blue groove is, it's pretty much you're sitting on pavement trying to run a rubber tire. And if you don't be conservative with those tires, you're going to lose the race.
all the racers slaying here. We got to educate people.
Exactly.
You know, you were talking about that the K-rail. I was listening to Brendan Gaughan earlier talk about how if that K-rail would have been there when he was racing here full time, he would have had some trouble.
I think there's a lot of drivers, especially when we start getting into those Pro 2 and Pro 4s. You know, you're coming through one of the fastest stretches in all of racing, or in all of short course, and then you're on the binders, and if you misplace your brake mark by just a bit, you're over the backside, and that K-rail is going to come into play at some point this weekend.
That corner typically stays in the shade too, doesn't it? So it's a little more wet most of the time than the rest of the track.
And there's that big tree that kind of overhangs the corner there.
Yeah. And like right here, you just, in the Pro 4 and Pro 2 classes, even in the Pro Light, I can't imagine coming in that fast and just trusting that pedal. Like, is it there or isn't it? Because they just throw it in.
So we've got a glimpse here at the 328. Luger still continuing to lead. Fitzgerald in the second spot on the hunt. Remember the midway point, we will throw the competition caution flag. So that big gap Luger's built over second place Fitzgerald will go away at some point. But Fitzgerald would like nothing more than to run Luger down and get around him before the competition caution. But Luger, that 328, it has been hitting its marks, not making any mistakes today. Looking like a potential world championship run here.
Yeah, Johnny Fitzgerald, he's sitting back right now just watching the track come together, and he knows where Luger's faster. He's already trying different lines, and that's for the second half. I can guarantee you that. He wants to see if he can make that pass if he's right up next to him on that restart. Not taking nothing away from Luger, but you're always learning, and if you're not, you don't want to win.
Comes around here to click off another lap. Looks like Fitzgerald has narrowed that gap just a little bit. So we head back out into the outer loop here. We're going to go through Argonne Corner.
Fitzgerald's starting to creep in on him.
Yeah, it looks like just Fitzgerald, every single corner he's gaining a foot here, a couple of feet there, and it's all starting to add up as he hunts down that 328 of Luger, who got the whole shot. Remember, Fitzgerald coming all the way from the outside. He was the last car in the front row, having to come all the way across traffic. I think he ended up about fourth on the start. He's picked his way through a couple of rides. Looks like Luger may have missed a shift or something coming out of the corner. Looked like he bobbled.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You know how these motors are so, like, they're so competitive, but at the same time, they're so similar. And you really can't make mistakes. And you know, by driving these cars, you miss one shift, you can lose 5 spots.
It's all about momentum. You cannot lose momentum because it takes you a long time to get it back. That's why they're trying different lines in these corners, trying to figure out, okay, where's the spot where I can keep the momentum, scrub off the least amount of speed, and obviously they're trying to lift off the gas pedal as little as possible.
Yeah, and when you're up front, do you show them too much early? You know, do you run that same line you would run late in the race? Because you know Fitzgerald's watching. It's not easy to lead a race, but when you're in second, you can babysit him, and that's what Fitzgerald's doing. I know him very, very well, and he's out to win this race, and it's going to come down right to the end.
Yeah, there goes that competition caution to mark the midway point here. So we're halfway down. We got about 3 laps to go when we go back to racing. But, you know, as you guys were talking about Fitzgerald, you know, he's going to have the opportunity now. That gap is going to reset. He's been watching the lines that our leader Luger has been. And, you know, as you guys know, he's patient. It only takes 1 corner to get the lead. You know, and he knows we got a few laps left, and he knows where he's going to try and attempt that pass. He's going to set it up a few times before. But, you know, in the back of his head, Ryan, he's got to be knowing, hey, I'm going to try at this corner at some point.
Well, there's only so many places that you can pass on a race course, and so you got to play that into your strategy. And if you're planning a pass in turn 3, you're actually preparing for it in turn 1.
You are. You really are. And that's what's so cool about this sport. And when you're in these momentum classes, like we said earlier, it's not even about the shift. It's about where you put that machine that you're in at that day. It might not be good as the number one spot, but Fitzgerald, I guarantee you, I'm sorry to say, he's going to give him everything he can handle.
Ooh, look at that.
Nice.
Nothing better than fresh donuts.
Gotta love donuts. Wow, those look good. Bring us some donuts up here to the booth. I'm saying right now, those things look amazing. You got to go get some of those. Those mini donuts here, oh, those are good.
You know, you flash from the wonderful fried donuts to the red, white, and blue chase truck.
Look
You know,
at that.
it
We got
doesn't get
ice
any more
cream.
American than this right here, you know?
That big ice cream swirly there, I got to tell you, that is looking pretty solid. You know, that's one thing. You've been venturing around Jurassic Park a little bit, Ryan, back amongst the pits, the fans. You got to talk about the food here at Crandon, man. I've seen chicken wings, cheese curds, ice cream, mini donuts.
You don't have to see anything. Just take a couple sniffs.
Yeah, just smell
It's
it.
everywhere. And you got the funnel cake. You got to go get some funnel cake.
I bet if they had a barbecue competition back there in Jurassic Park, there'd be some A-plus barbecue, too.
Oh, no question.
I bet there's some people who really bring their A-game and their barbecue equipment. All right, so we're going through that Forest County Potawatomi turn number 1. We're going to be looking for the green flag here. It is David Luger leading Johnny Fitzgerald, and we've got Craig Peidel there in the 3rd spot here. Green flag is out, and look at that, Fitzgerald jumping all the way to the inside.
Wow, did you see that? He turned really hard to the left. He just went totally opposite line. He must have thought he had a little bit of a run on Luger, but right now Luger about 2-3 car lengths already.
Yeah, that did not work. He scrubbed off some speed there, turning the steering wheel so hard right then.
Thought he saw something and it wasn't there. He's tugging the inside. Luger all the way to the top.
You know, I was once told that to be a good race car driver, you need to understand geometry.
Right, you do.
Not to design, well, you do need them to design race cars, but also when you're driving them.
Yeah, Fitzgerald, that definitely cost him. He was side by side there, and he dropped a few car lengths to him. And with only a couple laps remaining, that doesn't work into his favor right now. It's Craig Peidel in the 3rd spot, looking pretty solid.
Yeah, it looks like Dylan Parsons at 319, trying to work his way into the top 5. There's Van den Elzen making a little contact.
And that long run there's got to be tough on these 1600 cars. These guys trying to push that throttle through the floorboard right now.
Yeah, you build up all that speed and momentum, and then you come to one of the hard left-handers on the track, and then you have to pick that speed back up again.
It takes the rest of the lap to get it back up.
And there is Fitzgerald almost pulling into the draft there behind Luger, trying everything he can to try and narrow that gap. Got to give Luger a lot of credit. He has not made a mistake all race long, just absolutely hitting his marks every single corner. It's not opened the door at all for Fitzgerald, who's sending it off the barn jump. Wow.
Here comes Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald goes to the bottom. Look at that nice
like
line.
He's got him.
Look at using that moisture on the bottom.
Oh.
They are side by side past the VIP suites going into the Polaris Razor gravel pit. Wow, look at Fitzgerald.
That's that line he was trying before the mandatory competition caution.
Momentarily gets by it, but Luger's got the momentum. They're side by side over the Polaris Razor legendary leap.
It's there, Jim, though. That move is there. He knows it can work. He's just got to pick that right time. Oh, he scrubs.
Fitzgerald it looked like he almost started to spin out, caught a rut. I don't know.
Boy, Luger, he has no idea what's going on behind him. He's just trying to stay out front. Here comes Fitzgerald again. Watch for that crossover pass.
Yeah, you want to talk about white knuckle driving right now, David Luger. His knuckles are white, that's for sure. Slamming the door once again on Fitzgerald. What a battle here for the lead in 1600 Buggy.
And look at that gap between 3rd and 2nd.
Yeah, definitely a big gap. It's up to these top 2 right now. Fitzgerald all over the back door of Luger, again using a different line.
So this battle has been raging for 5 laps now. Luger not ceasing the lead. Ceding the lead to Fitzgerald, who is fighting tooth and nail to try and get around David Luger. He's got glimpses of that first spot, but not able to seal the deal yet as we come down in front of the grandstands into the barn corner.
There goes Fitz going to the inside. Oh, hit the berm a little bit. That scrubbed off some more speed, so he's been right there.
Nothing more frustrating to know you're so close, doing everything you can, and then to fall back that couple of seconds just makes a big difference.
Well, look at him just driving it hard and losing all kinds of momentum there.
Yeah, he's getting too excited here at the end. He had him where he wanted him, and now to make up that gap, it's not going to be easy.
And to Luger's credit, he is not wavered, just absolutely hitting his marks, not opening the doors. A white flag comes out. Fitzgerald going to have one more lap to try and put something together. Luger kind of gapping him here now, though. He's gonna have to have a good, solid run to catch up with Luger.
Yeah, Luger's still out front. That 328 is doing a fine job. He has no clue what was going on behind him this whole race. Fitzgerald pretty much throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him. Honestly, just he's been there, and I don't know. He might still have one more shot at this.
Now look at him. He's narrowed the gap here all the way to the inside. Doesn't look like anything's going to be there. He's going to try and carry some momentum. Luger over-rotating.
Got some big shoes to fill here. For the last 2 races, we've had some side-by-side finishes, so can't disappoint the fans.
You know, and Fitzgerald there in the barn corners tried to set it up, and he's also tried to set some passes up there in the gravel pit. So as we come in front of the grandstands into the barn corner, Fitzgerald, it is go time. It is the last lap. He's got to try and make something happen as he dives the inside.
Yeah, here comes Fitzgerald again, and watch, he's going to try to get this little run going in the gravel pit. Luger, side by side. This is what Fitzgerald wants. He's finally on the inside.
Fitzgerald on the brakes early. He's all the way down low. Luger, whoa, way high. Fitzgerald may make it happen.
Big mistake by Luger.
Luger's going to have some momentum as they go up the hill over the legendary leap. Side by side going into the last corner.
Well, Luger's going to try to sneak underneath. I don't think there's enough time.
Oh, look at that. Luger all the way inside.
He's going to do the slide job.
And Luger gonna take it at the stripe. Photo finish over Fitzgerald. You couldn't write a better story there in 1600 Buggy. David Luger, look at that. 6/100ths of a second.
Unreal.
You want to talk about a photo finish, Ryan Thomas?
I hope the fans realize what they're getting here. You know, this doesn't happen all the time, but to get everybody bunched up like that at the finish line.
Here's another look at that last corner as they come over the legendary leap.
See, Luger knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to try to just square him up. He was hoping that Fitz would make a little bit of mistake, and he got side by side and did a little job.
Look at that. Look at
Fitz was out.
Fitz's hand was out.
His hand.
He had the number 1 out, and he didn't realize. Whoa.
Dude, that was close.
That was a photo finish.
That's about as good as it gets right there.
That was a great race, and you got to give a lot of credit to Luger. I mean, he had pressure all race long from Fitzgerald and just never wavered, and he knew he had to do something special. Completely changed his game plan in the last corner, and it worked in his favor. But wow, what a race. We didn't even talk about Craig Peidel, who finished up 3rd on the box. Big credit to him. Great run for him as well. But that battle between Luger and Fitzgerald just had us talking all race long. Man, we got a packed house here at the big house, and they just witnessed one of the best 1600 Buggy races I think I've ever seen before. Wow.
Well, he's done it here. The number 328 of David Luger taking that top spot in 1600 Buggy. David, once you get your way out of here, I need to talk to you about that last lap. Going into the gravel pit, you took a little bit high. Fitzgerald took a little bit low. We thought you made a big mistake on that, but you were able to come back, get focused, going back into this last turn. Side by side, you were 6/100ths of a second in front of John Fitzgerald. David, what are you feeling like right now?
I feel really very happy, just elated to be able to pull off the whole shot and make it all the way to the end. That going wide in the gravel pit turn on the last run, that was a little bit of a mistake on my part. Didn't mean to go that far out, and you know, the whole time I was just trying to pick the dry spots in the track and get the traction. And I knew if Fitzy went onto the inside of me, he'd be dealing with wet stuff, and he just wasn't going to make it out of the corner. So I just stuck with that, and my spotter was on me. He knew he was coming, but we managed to hold him off, and just by the hair of our teeth.
Well, you've done it here, and I know it was a side-by-side. A lot of the races here at the 50th have been just photo finishes all the way to the end. Like I like to ask everybody, when you become the world champion, in one word, what do you feel like?
Remarkable.
Remarkable. Well, that's wonderful. I know you got to thank a lot of people for bringing you here. Who would you like to thank today?
I do. First off, I got to thank Lincoln Electric. I got to thank VP Fuels, Stingle Performance Transaxles, BF Goodrich. Those tires were hooked up today. It was great. My spotter, all my friends that came out to support me. It's awesome. Thank you.
Well, you've done it here, David. Nice job. Heading over here to our second place finisher, John Fitzgerald. John, we were going, like we were talking about, 6/100ths of a second, you pulled out everything. Going into the last one, like we were talking about, you took the inside. We saw that happen. You're driving this for Bruce Fraley, which we've seen before. Bruce says that you are a phenomenal driver. This is his baby, and he couldn't be happier to have somebody who treats this like his baby as well. How does that make you feel bringing it second place here at the 50th?
Well, second place is first loser, and there's nothing I hate more than second place. And we gave it all today, and he was flying, and we just didn't have it for him today. We were trying, made up some ground on him, but just didn't do it. But overall picture, we were here for the championship, in which we got. So we're happy with that. And Bruce gives me an awesome car to drive. I just show up and wheel it, and can't ask for a better deal.
Well, you've done it here. I know Bruce has brought, he told me 2 pounds of carne asada tonight, so I know we'll be celebrating with that. Who else would you like to thank for putting you on the second place box?
I couldn't do it without all Bruce's friends and family that come out and help, all my family and friends that came out, FabTech, BFG Tires, all these contingency sponsors just helping us out and getting up here on the podium.
Well, you've done it here, John. Nice job on the second place finish here at the 50th. Heading over to our third place finisher, Craig, sorry. I'm reading different names over here. Craig, you've done it. It was a crazy, crazy few laps going into the end of this. From your perspective, what did it look like between Fitzgerald and Luger to you?
Boy, they were getting close, and I think I was getting close to reeling them in, just kind of hoping maybe they could make some contact and I could sneak around, but it didn't happen. So.
Well, I know in these types of races, you can capitalize on other people's mistakes. What exactly was your spotter saying to you to keep you pushing and to get you on that third place box?
He just kept me calm and told me to just keep moving forward, and did a heck of a job. And got to thank all our sponsors, HBI, the whole Holter family. I got to thank my wife. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Nick Holter Construction, Corey's Crank and Nail. Everybody that helps us out on the car. Thank you.
Well, you've done it here. One more question for you. You've spent a lot of time here. You've spent a lot of time at all the other tracks as well. What does the 50th mean to you?
This is awesome. I'm glad I get to bring a trophy home. That's one of my goals, at least try to get a trophy. So.
Well, I'm glad you got it here. Head on up to the third place box. One more round of applause for your top 3 finishers in 1600 Buggy, and back up to you guys.